Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Punattu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mavid Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Supreme protect us. May the Supreme cause us to enjoy. May we both strive together. May our study become brilliant. May we not become disputatious. Not bringing the whole purpose of study is to liquidate the ego. It's the ego that makes us clash. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. The next prayer for the welfare of the world. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramaya. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kaschit Dukkhat Bhag Bhave. We pray for the happiness and peace of one and all. May everyone be comfortable at all levels of their personality. May we see that which is auspicious and divine everywhere. May there be no suffering anywhere. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Chant one verse, verse 17.
यस्त्वात्मरतिरेव स्यात् आत्मतृप्तश्च मानवः आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्टः तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते.
Does anybody have any question? So this is what we were discussing in the last class. Any human being, that human being who rejoices in the self, is satisfied in the self, is content in the self alone, for him there is nothing to be done. He need not, such a person is a perfect person. Who is a perfect person? Who is completely attuned to the self, and he is not inactive. He actually is doing what needs to be done with his body, mind, intellect. But he is completely self-sufficient. He is not dependent on anything. He need not do anything, but he is the person who is acting brilliantly. These great men who have reached the self, actually they are the people who have absolute compassion, absolute love for anybody. Whether they are scolding, whether they are not talking to you, whether they are talking to you, their only motive is to help us. To help us find peace immediately and find that absolute peace and bliss within. They have no other motive. Even the next verse is talking on the same theme. So this is the highest form of joy, highest quality of happiness that any human being can aspire for an experience. It is something to be experienced. We hear about it, we learn about it. It is only for the sake of inspiration to move towards that. But it remains unknown. Since it is unknown, the mind grows after the world because the pleasures that we derive from the world is immediate. It's instantaneous. The pleasure from the body, from the mind, from any worldly joy is immediate. That's why we say it is difficult to find happiness within oneself, but it is impossible to find it anywhere else. To find happiness within is difficult. Not impossible, it is difficult. But outside happiness, it comes and goes. It is not the true happiness. It's a false image. It comes and goes. It is not the real happiness. Outside happiness is like the moonlight. It is actually reflection of the bliss that is within. So one of the concepts that we have to keep in mind or remember is that spiritual training is all about going within, going subtle in going and identifying into the subtler layers of the body. So there is the outside world, external. Then there is a physical body. Within the body is the mind. Subtler than the mind is our intellect. When the mind is agitated or disturbed, the intellect is not available. If the intellect is strong, the mind will be calm. And when the mind is calm, intellect is alert, you will be able to, you will have a better control over yourself. Mind is the engine of the car. Intellect is the steering wheel. Where does thoughts come from? Where does the intellect arise? That's the vasanas. And then vasanas itself is the ignorance of self. How vasanas come, we don't know. But where does vasana come? It is from that pure consciousness, reality, Brahman. Now here when he talks about the self, such a person is reveling in the self within. It's used three times. Three times he used. He is content in the self. Santushtaha. Santushtaha. Triptihi. Satisfied in the self. Atma ratihi. Is rejoicing in the self. This is something unknown to us. So what are the different types of happiness that we experience in the world? When we get something externally, some external acquisition, there is a happiness. That's the lowest form of happiness. Higher than that is whatever is happening at the level of the body. At the level of the body, there is the physical pleasures give us joy, but it is considered to be the lowest, grossest form of pleasure. And not only that, when we are identifying with the body, here is a person who is identified with the Supreme Self. That is the training we have to do. Training means you hear about it, you learn about it, you understand it, and then you practice it. The practice is thinking of the self, not a mechanically. It could start mechanically, but then it should become a genuine practice. Genuine means your mind feels it and the intellect understands. This combination is very, very important. We keep repeating. There must be a confluence. What is the confluence? The heart, the mind feels it and the head understands. The intellect understands. When we have to cut through metal, we use a cutter, but then we also put lubricants. If the lubricant is not put, it will cause friction. So we say the discrimination or the thinking of the intellect and the devotion of the mind, when both are combining, then it's no longer mechanical. Then you are really understanding and living it. So it's a practice. The mind should feel what the intellect understands. The intellect should understand what the mind feels. In every aspect of life, if it is only feeling, it tends to become superstitious. Devotion minus knowledge equals superstition. Knowledge minus devotion leads to arrogance. You theoretically know it. You may also give a lecture, but you're not living it. That's what we say a philosophy professor. He's just learned, he's memorizing it and repeating it. He doesn't internalize it. There is no inspiration or sort of a passion or enthusiasm to live it. He is external. He's learning to repeat it or write it, whatever. People may write books, but they are not living it. But if you write it over and over again with this idea that I must internalize it, that is very, very powerful. So you can adopt this method to any form of learning. What we do, we kind of do it perfectly in the academy. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. We first listen to lectures from Swamiji. Listening. Then next day early morning, we read it and think over it. So listening, reading, thinking. Then we start discussing. That's what we say satsang. When you listen to each other, you know your perspective. You hear about different perspectives. So one is you're thinking on your own. Then you start listening to others. The thinking improves, or you go deeper into it. Discussion. Even when we speak, when you start speaking, then you know that how little you know, how little you understand. Finally, you write it down. When you write it down, the thoughts are more, when you speak, you may speak this much. But when you have to write it down, it's more focused. So reading and listening, thinking, discussing or speaking about it, and finally putting it down in the paper. Now, once you write it down, it may publish as a book. That's not going to change you. But if you write it over and over again, whatever is your in a way good practice. I used to say this earlier, but then I kind of forgot. Suppose today, whatever lecture you listen, anytime today or tomorrow morning, you just write it down, whatever you remember. That will internalize it more effectively. That will become part of it. Otherwise, this knowledge is very, very volatile. After a while, you feel that, what did I learn? But it's not that change is not happening. The change is happening at a very, very subtle level, which is not visible. But over a period of time, we will change. But get it right. What is getting it right? The feeling and the thinking, the understanding and the feeling must go hand in hand. The mind must feel, the intellect must understand it. So, spiritual training, as per this verse, is a perfect human being is one who's Atmaratahi, reveling in the rejoicing in the self, is satisfied in the self, content in the self. This is like a poetry to us. We don't know what it means. Thinking of the body, we are running out of physical pleasures, which is very gross. Higher than that, when we start identifying with our emotions and feelings. See, when it's body, it is just me. When it's feelings and emotions, now you start caring about your family and friends, with whoever you are emotionally connect. But at the level of emotions, the ego is there, my friends, my family. Then you cross the emotional barrier, which is far subtler than physical barrier, physical level. Emotional joy is far superior than physical pleasures. The quality, the body needs its share of physical pleasures, but if you're stuck with the body, it's only physical. At the emotional level, love, gratitude, the positive emotions, that gives you greater quality of joy. And once you're at the emotional level, the affectations from the world is lesser. Any little disturbance from the external world affects you when you are the grosser level of the personality. So as you progress on the spiritual journey, so this is theoretical, but practically you just follow the path. Whatever you understand, you keep following the path. Over a period of time, you kind of, whatever happens to the body doesn't affect you anymore. Now you're at the emotional level. Affectation is less, quality of joy is far superior. Then you identify with the intellect. Now also we can do it. You identify with the intellect and set a goal. Okay, let me be of some service to the company. Let me be of some service to the community. Let me be of some service. I can say, let me be of some service to my class members. Let me be of some service to my countrymen. Wherever you are, you mentally expand to a circle beyond your ego and egocentric desires. Egocentric. It's no longer me and my family. It becomes bigger. Let's say my company, my community, my country, my world. Finally, at the spiritual level, that's a totally different shift altogether. You cross over the physical, emotional, intellectual barrier, which is the matter. Body, mind, intellect. Physical, emotional, intellectual is matter. You cross over the matter, now you are tuned into the self in all beings. The same self is all in all beings. When you are experiencing spiritual joy, it's almost like nothing in the world affects you. Because affectation is at the level of the body, mind, intellect. The metal gets affected by the magnet, not the wood. Wood is the self in us. Metal is the body, mind, intellect. So what is that we are learning? If you're all the time relating with the body, joy, content, you are living a very poor quality of life. You will be any little disturbance will affect you. You rise up to the mind, less affected, quality of joy is superior. At the level of the intellect, you are so positively preoccupied to serve a larger cause, your quality of joy far superior, almost nothing affects you. Or even if it affects you, see, when we say affectation is more, the intensity and the frequency of agitation is more. You're very disturbed and very often. This will slowly slow down. It's not so intense and less frequent. It doesn't happen overnight, but you stick to the path. You just, whatever we are studying, you just be consistent, steadfast, and keep trying without sort of giving up. That's why yesterday I messaged Shraddha. It is one of the most important qualities of life. If you have Shraddha, you will reach the goal. It doesn't matter what your talent is. Many people are very talented. They are like genius. But if you don't have Shraddha, you give away halfway. But even if you have a little bit of talent, if you say, no, I will not stop until I reach the goal, automatically along the way, you will get the talent. Personally, I remember this is 2003, I think. I was attending Swamiji's Gita lectures on this chapter, chapter 3. And full house, 600, 700 people in Calcutta. And we will cover Shraddha. It's coming, it'll in the between 33, 32 or 34th verse of this chapter. And he told the audience that all of you have faith. That's why you have come here. But I'll be flattered if there is one or two people having Shraddha. So it's a way of putting it, He's talking to everybody, and everybody feels I should be that person. I should be that person. All of you have faith, therefore you're coming for the lectures. But Shraddha is to continue the journey until you reach the ultimate, whatever is your goal. Don't stop until you have reached your goal. That is Shraddha. So you continue the journey slowly over a period of time. You will feel that body level doesn't matter. You are experiencing emotional joy. Then what is happening at the emotional level? Family disturbances are not faith and Shraddha. Okay, Ganesh, I'll just cover. It will be covered in detail when we reach that verse, but I'll touch upon it. So body level, it doesn't matter whether it's there or not. You're now emotional. Then intellectually, when you're serving a larger cause, a larger group of people, it's identification. Then what is happening at the family level? You're easily able to handle it. It doesn't affect you so much. Your source of happiness is different. Finally, the spiritual level, you're so pure and so self-sufficient. You don't really need the world to cater to you. You are happy from within. It takes time, but at least we should have that mental vision. See, faith is something you cannot live your life without faith. When you go to a restaurant, you don't know whether the food will be poison or not, but you eat it. That's faith. When you go to when you take a flight, you don't know whether the flight will take off properly, land properly, whether the pilot is a licensed fellow or not. You just have faith that, okay, everything must be fine. You start the journey with faith. You come to the Gita or the class with faith. But Shraddha is to complete the journey and reach your goal. I come with faith, then I stop. So with faith, you start. Shraddha helps you to complete the journey. So that determination, that dedication, that concerted effort to not mind the failures, not mind how many times you fail, not mind the obstacles, but you have that determination to complete it. Some things that Indians lack. We have the foundation stone everywhere. The building is missing. We start everything, but we don't finish anything. So in your own field of activity, you must have Shraddha. So we say if you have Shraddha, you will finish the journey. In the 17th chapter of the Gita, he says, you are what your Shraddha is. Generally, we say you are what your vasanas are. There is a difference between faith and hope because hope can lead to disappointment. Hope may be fulfilled, may not be fulfilled. Faith is that you start with something. The faith means if you don't have faith, you will not do anything. Suppose I don't have faith in somebody, I'll not relate to that person. Faith, you start. Shraddha is the commitment to finish whatever you have started. Along the way, if there is any disappointment, you don't mind. You still want to pursue your goal. Now, just see, it's important also to just generally keep in mind. See this, the whole knowledge is like a big jigsaw puzzle. Each concept, each idea is like fitting one piece, one piece, one piece. Over a period of time, suddenly you see the total picture. So keep putting one piece together. Some of you play jigsaw puzzle, no? It's you don't know what the whole picture is, but you keep on putting one piece. Over a period of time, suddenly you see the total picture. So one of the things to keep in mind is the sequence of the topics. So this chapter started with introduction of the path of action. Now we are finishing the second topic, which is an intellectual appeal for action. And then we enter the third topic, emotional. Emotional level appeals to the mind, the heart. You will not find any reason and logic there. In 4 to 19, there is a reason and logic. So we'll just quickly, not going into detail, but we'll remember why is Sri Krishna, Bhagwan Krishna is encouraging Arjuna to act. Arjuna wanted to run away from the battlefield and he had completely emotionally collapsed. I don't want to fight. And he gave some foolish, silly reasons of not fighting. He just wanted to escape from the battlefield. He wanted to escape from his obligatory duties. Now, Krishna is saying, the fourth verse, he said, if you don't act, you will not reach the state of actionlessness. So, if you remember, actionlessness, Naishkarmyam is the state of actionlessness. Actionlessness is not just the body not acting. Action is not happening because there is no desire. There is no desire because there is no thought. No thought because you have eradicated that vasana from the root. The vasana itself is not there. So actionlessness actually means vasana-lessness. Now, what people have taken it is they just stop the action while the vasana, thought, desire was still gurgling. It's still there in the mind. So if you have vasanas and give up, you will become tamasic, heavy. That's not spiritual growth. Spiritual growth is to function in a way that where you are constantly reducing your thoughts and desires. Spirituality Vedanta class is a thought reduction program. In the physical exercise in gym, you do a weight reduction program. Here is a thought reduction program. The less thought you are, more dynamic you are. So that's why when there is one thought, your whole energy, your whole focus is on thought. So temporarily, you want to become a chartered accountant, you want to become whatever, you want to become a Wimbledon champion, you focus all your energies in that direction. So you become, the other is all thoughts all thoughts and desires are pulling you in different direction. Then you are no longer dynamic in one direction. So lesser thoughts, more dynamic. Too many thoughts and not acting on it, you become lazy, tamasic, heavy. Mind becomes heavy. So, but people have not understood actionlessness and they have stopped action. So he says, even the fifth verse, he said, this is a quick recap. I'll try to go, I'm going fast here because this is not the point of repeating. Repetition will constantly happen. No one can remain active even for a moment. If you can sleep and the moment you wake up, all thoughts, desire, and action will push you to activity. Everybody is made to act helplessly, indeed, by the qualities of Prakriti. Tamasic person will be tamasic. He will be lazy. He will be late. He will keep things all over the place. He will be indifferent. He will have no knowledge. A rajasic person will be rushing, hurrying, worrying, stressed out. You just pick up. Angry person will be angry. Kind person will be kind. I'm saying the nature helplessly manifests just as a tiger is a tiger, cobra is a cobra, deer is a deer. Similarly, all human beings have individualistic vasanas. Each one's vasanas will helplessly manifest. It requires a lot of strength, application to change our thoughts. Thoughts and actions do change, but it takes time. It takes shraddha. It takes considerable time and effort to keep trying. Today the wall is yellow, you want to paint it blue, you put blue, you see green. Don't be disappointed. Yellow plus, if the wall was white, immediately blue will come. But today, because of our past background, there is a past momentum. Slowly you have to change. Rivers don't turn in right angles. Expressway doesn't turn in right angles. It all turns in a curve. So patience, there is no substitute to patience and perseverance. Gain the right knowledge and keep applying yourself. So otherwise, understand people will be what they are. If we are expecting them to be different from what they are, we get unnecessarily stressed out, disappointed. Don't blame them. Their nature is like that, so they will helplessly act. We have to adjust and adapt. Our capacity to adjust and adapt, there's no end to it. There's no limit to it. We have enormous capacity to adjust and adapt. If you're at the physical level, your capacity is less. A self-realized person can adjust and adapt to anything because he is not dependent. So slowly we have to become more self-sufficient by practically what you do, you work for others. Working for yourself, body. Working for your family, emotions. Working for company and others, intellectual. Working for self in all beings. Slowly dedicating your work to God. Then your capacity to adjust and adapt is enormous. And your objective. Understand people what they are. Don't expect them to be different from what they are. If you do that, it's our mistake. So you can try to change them or whatever, but they will be what they are. So don't let their nature affect you. Then verse 6 and 7 was self-control. I hope you remember we spent almost, I think, 2.5 classes on that. I'm not going to the verse, but the main idea is self-control is not physical, that you keep thinking about it mentally and restrict yourself physically. Then that is not self-control. That is the formula for frustration. You become a caricature. But what is the seventh verse? Give a beautiful formula. Let the body do whatever it has to do. Meaning, you don't do something which is harmful or adharmic. You engage the body in dharmic activities. Any whatever it could be, physical pleasure, doesn't matter. Let the body do. If you have the desire to overcome that desire, if you have the intention to control that desire or exhaust that desire, then let your mind be on some higher thought. What is the principle? In whichever directions you allow your thoughts to flow, that desire will become stronger. So any indulgence or any experience, if you're thinking of that thing, while I'm having ice cream, if I'm thinking of when will I have the next ice cream, oh, this is so nice. If you're thinking about it, the desire for ice cream becomes strong, right? Now, suppose I won't want this desire, let the body experience it because there's nothing wrong in it, but let the mind be on something higher. If you remember in the commentary, he says, keep the mind on a higher goal, like, let me become a better human being. Let me evolve spiritually. So, and this is something not everybody has. Not everybody has the desire that let me become a better human being. And it's a very, very sacred or precious thought or desire, because this thought, let me become better, will take you right up to enlightenment. Enlightenment is the absolute state of perfection. That's what 19th verse is saying. You will reach the supreme. So in the flyer, it says the ultimate state of perfection. What is supreme? The ultimate state of perfection which a human being alone can reach. No tiger will have a thought, oh, let me become a better tiger. Let me become the world #1 tiger. A cat, let me become the world #1 cat. No, nobody can do it. A human being may not have this thought, so he's just running after the world, seeking pleasure. Or this thought, let me improve myself. If you have that thought and then you have the right guidance, how to do it, what to do it, how to start. So I want to become a better human being. I want to evolve spiritually. Finally, the goal should be what we say mumukshatva, a desire to liberate yourself and attune to the self, no longer be with the body, mind, intellect. If you have mumukshatva and shraddha, these are the two most important qualities. Mumukshatva sets the direction right, not body, mind, intellect, but the self. And shraddha helps you to complete the journey. Journey starts, let me become a better human being. Then with knowledge, you understand, okay, there is something called spiritual evolution. What is spiritual evolution? Less attachment to the body, mind, intellect, more attunement to the self. Finally, liberation is you become the self, the ultimate. That is mumukshatva, an intense longing for God. Mumukshatva sets the direction. Worldly life is attachment to the body, mind, intellect. Mumukshatva sets the direction. Okay, I must use my body, mind, intellect to serve the world. I must use my body, mind, intellect to evolve spiritually. I must relate to the body, mind, intellect, understanding I am not the body, mind, intellect. And then you seek the self. If you have Shraddha, you will complete the journey. See, yes. Okay. I'll cover this when that verse, it will come here. I'll connect it that time. Stephen, I read your question. So self-control is your thoughts are on something higher. Let the body do something if it's not harmful. If it's harmful and you do it, you are going to face severe consequences. Karmic action will be bad. If you're doing something adharmic, and if you're doing something which is harmful, like let's say, I don't know, I'm good or bad example. If I'm taking drugs, I may not be harming others directly, but I'm harming myself. If adharmic is where you're harming others, don't do that. Harming yourself also, don't do that. But if it's not a adharmic activity, it's not something harmful, but you want to improve. So then, even if you are engaging in that action, let's say you are having ice cream too much and you want to overcome the desire for ice cream. If the body contacts in moderation, it's fine, but keep your mind in a higher thought. That is self-control. Seventh verse had covered that. He who restraining the senses by the mind is somewhere else, but he keeps acting. This is called yoga of action, actions without attachment. Eighth verse is very, very similar to the 19th verse, which you're going to cover now. Perform your obligatory action, for action is superior to inaction. Action is rajas, inaction is tamas. Rajas is very, very superior to inaction. If you are tamasic, even your body will become unfit. A lazy person, he cannot enjoy life. Lazy person, he cannot move around. So even to enjoy the world, you need to be, if you want to go for a trek or you want to do some activity, you need to be active. You need to be fit. Fitness comes from action. But and then we'll cover the difference between rajas and sattva. The world is bound by action other than those performed for the sake of yajna. So the concept of yajna is introduced. You forget everything else if you just remember what is the summary of the entire Vedanta philosophy. You act in a spirit of service and sacrifice. That is your Kamadhenu. We covered the story of Kamadhenu. That is your Kamadhenu. Kamadhenu is that mythological divine cow which will fulfill all your desires. What else do you want? You want our desires to be fulfilled? No. Keep on acting in a spirit of service and sacrifice. There is no cow who will come, but you will get whatever you want. Just keep on acting. In a spirit of yajna means, can I be of some service? Can I be of some service? Keep on offering your talent for the welfare of the world. So he says, and that will promote, it will give you everything. It will give you peace, it will give you prosperity, it will eventually help you exhaust your vasanas and realize the self. What exhausts vasanas is attitude of service and sacrifice. So the concept of yajna is introduced. Attachment is, I am doing something because I want something. The fruit is automatic. That's the law of karma. You will get what you deserve. To deserve, you have to keep acting, perform the right action. So encourage yourself to act in the spirit of service, sacrifice. Verse 10, same thing, milch cow. The creator, when creation happened, when human beings happened, we have this capacity to sacrifice. Use that capacity to sacrifice. No animal life can consciously sacrifice. We do see in National Geography or some Animal Planet, suddenly an animal doing some sacrificial activity. But those are more freaks. We don't know how it happens. You have two dogs in the house. You bring one plate of food. No dog will say after you. You eat first. No dog is going to say. It doesn't happen. In human beings, we can consciously be selfish. We can consciously be sacrificed after you. Very, very inspiring verse will come. It's coming soon. It won't be too late. 28th verse of chapter 4. He says, if you have 2 loaves of bread, you give 1 loaf of bread away. It's a sacrifice at the physical level. Sorry, it's a sacrifice at the material level. You have 2 things, you give 1 away, helping others. But if you have 1 loaf of bread and you give that away because you feel the other person is more hungry, that's a greater sacrifice. Remember the law of life. He is happy indeed, whose life is a continuous sacrifice. And this continuous sacrifice is an attitude in mind. How can I be of some service to others? The secret of happiness is in making others happy, and you are happy to do it, not frustratingly. Okay, let him be happy. What I don't want it. Not like that. You genuinely understand. The more you forget yourself and engage yourself in action, the more happiness will automatically come to you. When you clean drop your ego, happiness will come. So when you're all the time thinking of yourself, what will happen to me? What will happen to me? What will happen to me? You have all the resources in the world, but your mind is insecure. Whereas on the other side, a person who is attuned to the self, which is the God principle, he is no longer thinking of basap, he is thinking of the self. He may have nothing, but he is happy. At least mentally visualize or intellectually visualize the contrast. One person is egoistically thinking, what will happen to me? What will happen to me? What will happen to me? He may be the most richest person. He may be the most powerful person. But if his thought is self-centered and egoistic, he is insecure. Now on the other side, what is spiritual growth or what is the spiritual life or what is the spiritual practice? Don't think of yourself. Don't think of the little self, the ego, but use your body, mind, intellect in a spirit of yajna to serve. And next point, remember the self. Identify with the self. Atma triptihi, Atma santushtaha, Atma rataha. You are reveling in the bliss of the self within. So ego is gone, you are reveling in the self. Now such a person Even if he has nothing, he is supremely secure because he has found happiness within. Now we are somewhere in between. So consciously be less selfish, more unselfish. Consciously think less about yourself, think more of what? Let's see who gets the answer. Think less of yourself, more of, huh?
Others.
Very good. Others is good. Something else?
God.
Huh? God is the highest. You're right. God is the highest. But there is an in-between step also, which others is a very good in-between step. Think more of. I have something in my mind. That's why I'm asking. Let's see who gets it. One is always thinking, helping others. Self and God is the highest. If you're able to do that, very good. See, if you're working and you're remembering God, you just have to relax. You will reach the supreme. Nothing else needs to be done. If you are in that zone where you're doing your obligatory duties, see, many people think of God not doing the obligatory duties. Indirectly, you'll become tamasic. You have to get into action. You have to do what you're supposed to do. Then remember God. And if you've finished everything, you have nothing else to do in life, then you remember God. I mean, anyway, you will not. Basically, a sattvic mind should remember God. Now, if you don't remember God and get into activity, you become rajasic, you become worldly. No action is tamasic. Thinking of only the world and acting is rajasic. As we are doing our activities, slowly bring in the thought of the self. I am doing this because somehow remember, I am doing this because the self enlivens me. I am doing this as an offering to the self. In whatever way, just connect it to the divine, whatever is your understanding of the divine. So, I don't think of myself. I have to ultimately think of the self, but that is the highest. Go step by step. Very good answer, Mashima. Shashwati, very good answer. You think of others. I would say a little bit more practical. Instead of thinking of yourself, what should you think of? Let's keep God aside. No, don't disturb him now. He's not disturbed. What should we think of? Practical. Practical answer I want. If you get the answer right, then slowly you will also start practicing it. Think. It's not difficult. If you are not supposed to think of yourself, what is the next step should you do? Where should you focus on action? Where should I focus my action on? Now, when I can't be thinking of myself in the class, it doesn't happen. Thank you. Fortunately, it doesn't happen. Okay, I can think of you. How can I be of some service to all of you also? Let's say I'm not thinking of the self. What else can I think of? I don't think I can make it more easier.
Do your best. Yoga karmasya kaushal.
Do your best is the how are you doing it? I can do it not properly. Or I can put your, as you said, do your best. Put your heart and soul into wherever your mind cooperates, put your heart and soul and shift your focus
Without
from
expecting any fruit. Without having attention on
correct.
the
That's
your
the
best.
thing. You don't worry about the fruit. Then what do you worry about?
We can think about the welfare of the others.
You're saying it, you said others, now you're saying welfare of others, which is fine, which is same. One in-between step is missing. Not difficult. Shift your focus to the
higher.
higher. Higher is correct. What is higher? Lower is thinking about what can I get for myself. Higher is what can I do for others. How? Let me dedicate it to the self. That's the highest. So generally people are not inspired. What is this highest? But when you become pure and we gain knowledge, you want to dedicate everything to God. You don't want to waste any effort in doing anything else. You want everything to be dedicated to the higher. That's how you get attached to the supreme in a good way. You start identifying with the supreme. Huh? Sorry, Hari.
Guruji,
Yes.
we think of oneness in all while doing so.
Okay, it's a good practice. I'm looking for even simpler.
Okay.
It's good if you are able to think. That is, see, when we work, we must embrace one and all with love. That's the goal. We feel a sense of oneness. You serve others as if you're serving yourself. You see yourself in everybody. That's beautiful. That is wonderful. If you're able to do it. Shift your focus. Stop thinking about yourself and
Are you hinting at sarva hite rataha?
no, that also is very, I mean, it's something very simple. Yeah, you enjoy sarva bhute hitarata. You are enjoying everybody's, if everybody's happy, you're happy. That's you're thinking of others. Practical. Shift your focus from yourself to
Service?
huh? Sorry, Bhavna.
Service? Service?
Service to
Or
the work.
sacrifice, yeah.
So these are all attitude. I should do it properly to the best of my ability. I should do it for the welfare of others. I should do it for others. These are all good. That's the attitude with which you work. So shift from what will happen to me to the work. And then work is pure when you do it for the sake of others. And when the mind is very pure and you are learning this knowledge, slowly you are able to dedicate that work to God. So first step is start thinking of the work. The wrong is to think of the result while working. What will I get out of it? What will I get out of it? What Ullas said. You have no desire for the fruit. I mean, fruit is automatic. Vedanta is not saying throw the fruit away. I mean, you can throw the fruit away if you don't want it or it's not harmful to you. Otherwise, what comes out of your action, I mean, whatever salary, etc., whatever comes, it's a result of your karma. Shift from the ego. I am doing it and I want something out of it. Thinking about yourself, what will happen to me? Do the work. Do the work properly. What is doing the work properly? Doing the work for the welfare of others. Okay, Hari's point. You feel the oneness with others and do the work properly. Sorry, Hari?
And be the self in the present moment.
Yeah, correct. Be in the present. I can't be thinking
Right.
now of the past or the future.
Yeah.
I have to be in the present. In the present, so all this put together is karma yoga. Live in the present, do your best, do it for the welfare of others, and then finally dedicating it to the higher. But that first step was, see, when a person, what will happen to me? What will happen to me? It will slowly make you worry, anxiety, you lose your sense of peace. So shift, get into activity and do the work properly. Even if it's selfish, chalega. You start activity. Shift your focus from yourself to activity. Then purify the motive. Can I be of some service to others? You act for the welfare of others. Finally, bring God into the picture. Okay. So I hope now you not forget it. That's why education means to draw it out. Educate to draw it out, not push it in. So unfortunately, most of the time we are pushing it in. But at least we say think, think, think. When you think and understand, it becomes part of you. But if you question and take it out, it's best. So, okay. Verse 12, he says, if you sacrifice, all that you need will automatically come. Now, tamas is, that's where, Stephen, you said sattvic. Tamasic person is one who is taking without contributing. He has no thought of doing any work. That's tamasic. He who takes without offering is a thief, tamas. Rajasic people eat for they cook for themselves. Means you're doing something because your eyes on the fruit. I will do it because I want something out of it. Now, Sattvic, they act in a spirit of yajna. What was your question? Sattvic include helping others become more virtuous. Yes. So when you are being unselfish, you're tending to be sattvic. Tamasic person, he is acting, sorry, he doesn't act. He is just taking without contributing. In that case, you are tamasic. But if you say, no, I will work only when I get something out of it, when you are clear about the clear about the fruit and you really want it, otherwise you will not do it. That's Rajasic people. They cook for themselves, they eat sin. Sin is mental agitation. So anybody who is stressed out from work, you're functioning in a Rajasic way. You're doing it with selfish, self-centered motives, with the eye on the fruit of action. What I was trying to say is, I should be on the work. With this clear knowledge that law of karma functions with mathematical precision, you don't have to worry. Just deserve. If you deserve something, all that you need will automatically come to you. If your work is good, even if your company doesn't pay, life will pay. And if you're cheating and manipulating, even if the company pays, that money will not remain with you. Life will take it away. It could be suddenly a medical crisis, something will happen. So don't worry about it. What will come, we don't know. But keep doing actions in a spirit of yajna. That's the sacrificial people. So sattvic people, they are the sacrificial, sattvic people. Acting in a spirit of yajna is sattvic. They act, they are virtuous people. They are wanting to be of some helps to others. But true sattva is when you're seeking the self. Whenever we cover that, it will come. True sattva is always associated with the self. But even if you are a good human being in the world, we will say you're sattvic. But if you add God into the picture, you're truly sattvic. 14th and 15th was the agricultural metaphor, which you don't have to worry too much about it. It rests in yajna. Through yajna, Brahma created everything, and through yajna, we'll go back to Brahman. So spirit of yajna is the pivot around which we can go back to Brahman. That was 14, 15. 16 also was like a warning. What is the warning? He said there are two types of people. One type of people follow the spirit of yajna. They follow the wheel of action. But those who don't follow the wheel, they are just rejoicing in the senses, which is at the body level. So they live in vain. They will have to go through many, many lifetimes. You're just living in the world, fulfilling your physical pleasures. You go nowhere. Ultimately, it's a life of agitation. 17 is what we are doing, is the other person. He is attuned to the self. The self is the source of absolute peace and bliss. The kingdom of heaven lies within us. Don't forget it. Verse 18 also was, now a similar thought is continued. Anybody? Is it clear? We'll chant verse 18.
नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थः नाकृतेनेह कश्चन न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिदर्थव्यपाश्रयः.
For him, a person who is attuned to the self, there is no interest whatever herein, what is done or what is not done, nor does it depend upon any being or object. So there are, okay, I'll read it again. Translation for verse 18. Such a person, such a person who's attuned to the self, is reveling in the self, is content in the self, is satisfied in the self, is rejoicing in the self. Swami Ramatita says, exquisite joy from within, an indescribable joy from within. You cannot describe it. You can imagine it. But slowly, the intellect must encourage the mind to taste that bliss from within. See why meditation is so popular, because suddenly you close your eyes and feel a sense of peace from within. But the problem is meditation becomes completely ineffective if during the period outside meditation you are being egoistic, you are being selfish, you are happily losing temper, jealousy, anger, all the negative emotions are there. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you are meditating. That will not make you effective. That will not, it might cause damage. So better is in our day-to-day life, we are less egoistic, more unselfish, more dynamic. We are a good human being during the day. Then if you meditate, already you are making the mind calm. I don't know how many of you have heard this example. A lady falls and cuts herself. She has cut herself. Now she goes to a neighbor who is a doctor and says, see, I've cut myself. The doctor says, Ari, it's a very small cut. Even if you did not come to me, you would be fine. But since you have come to me, what she does, she cleans the wound. She puts the ointment. She dresses it up and says, don't worry. Now you don't have to come back to me. 2 days later, the lady again goes to that friend and shows, see what has happened. It's become worse. So the doctor friend is surprised. Ari, why this happened? But doesn't matter. I'm glad you came to me. Again, she cleans the wound. She puts the ointment. She dresses it up. And this time she says, I'm 100% confident you don't have to come back to me. 2-3 days later, again the lady goes, shows her friend, see what has happened. She says, Are now she says, there's something wrong. Are you doing anything? So the lady says, no, I don't do anything except when I feel scratchy, I'm scratching it throughout the day. Now, meditation is like you clean the mind, you put an ointment, you think of God, and you dress it up. Rest of the day, you're doing all selfish, egocentric activities. You're hating others, you're losing your temper, your jealousy, anger, greed, all the rajasic and tamasic tendencies are there. 15-20 minutes, I'll think of God. It's not going to work. Whereas, so, okay, another example. So, in the sense, if you leave the wound without scratching it, automatically it will heal. So, if you are a good, that's what most, I don't know what to say. I would say all good masters will say become a good human being. Then meditate. Meditation is the most important spiritual practice. It is also the most advanced spiritual practice. You end your spiritual journey with meditation. Don't start with it. Just closing your eyes and breathing, it's making you peaceful for the time being. That too initially. You continue it, and if you are continuously effortlessly meditating, then my prostration to you are on the right track. But if you find it difficult, then stop. Try to become a better human being in day-to-day life. That's what we are training. So when your thoughts reduce, you become meditative. Now you are practicing meditative. Here is a way of life where you become meditative. How is this example? A man goes to the terrace of his house. He hoists the Indian national flag and he sings Jana Gana Mana. None of us do that, right? So everybody will say, what a guy. Every morning we may be opening our Vedanta books. He is going and hoisting the national flag and singing national anthem. Everybody says, what a patriotic person. Rest of the day, what he's doing, he's selling the country's secrets to the neighboring countries. Is that any meaning? Might as well not sing the national anthem. You don't even know what does the national flag look like, but you're serving the country. You see, so true spiritual practice is dissolving the ego, becoming more sacrificial, having a control over your kama, krodha, lobha, moha, all the negative emotions which disturb you. So develop the feeling of oneness. So all of you gave good answers. Think of others, think of the welfare of others, work to the best of your ability. Genuinely love the person around you, and love, service is all one-sided. It doesn't matter who the other person is, but you become a source of love and service for others. Who will benefit? You will benefit. You will benefit means you will be truly happy, you will be evolving. So have clarity in your mind. Be clear, what is that I want in life? We all want to be happy. Now, without the knowledge, we are seeking happiness in the wrong way. We are seeking happiness by being egoistic and selfish. Scriptures only say if you really want to be happy, fine, be sacrificial. Don't think of yourself, think of others. Then your mind becomes happy. You get the concepts right. And then once you're clear in your head, automatically it'll come out as action. Till then, keep thinking. So at the absolute level, who is attuned to the self, he has no interest whatever here in what is done or what is not done. Nor does he depend upon any being or any object. So when we have too many desires, when we are very self-centered, we are dependent on others. We are going out into the world hoping I'll get something. Now, when that is the case, be true to yourself. When that is the case, understand if you want something, you will have to do karma. You will have to do good karma. So engage yourself in a lot of good karma, because through action you will deserve whatever you want, it will come to you. But also at the same time, we have to develop a sense of self-sufficiency. Self-sufficiency comes when you realize that the self in me is paripurna. It is all full. It is complete. There is nothing that we lack, but we have forgotten that we are full. So gain the knowledge, remember your fullness. The more you remember and feel the paripurna, the completeness of yourself within, which is difficult at this moment, is theoretical. You remember your fullness, you sort of say, okay, the self in me is all full, is all blissful, it is complete, it is whole, it is infinite. To whatever extent, remember that. Then you do work, because you have not realized the self. If you have realized the self, you're totally self-sufficient from within. You need not work. You need not work. A person who is completely self-sufficient from within, he need not work. Bhavna, I'll take up your question. So the best way to understand this concept is the example of the dream and the waking state. Now, whatever is going on, now let's say we are all stuck in the dream and we have our desires and wants and needs. We also see people suffering in the world. Now, suddenly you trip on something and you wake up. Once you're awake, now you're awake, then you realize, where is the dream? It was just a figment of imagination. But now let's say there is a magic trick by which you can go back to the dream world. This doesn't happen in practical life. When we are dreaming and we see people suffering and we are also suffering, etc. Now suddenly when you wake up to the waking world, now I'm saying by a magic trick, you can go back to the same dream world. Will you not say this? I'm awake now, but if I have a passport or a magic formula to go back to my dream, with reference to the dream world, can I not say, I have no interest in whatever is happening in the dream. I don't want to do anything or not do anything. No interest in it. Nor do I depend on anything because I know the waking state. A waker going into the dream will have absolutely, he has no interest. So similarly, a self-realized master, he's reveling in the bliss of self. So he is acting, but he has got no interest. What happens, what doesn't happen. He keeps on playing his role. Yes, Bhavana. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
No. You said that a Rajasic person essentially will act with, with a desire for the fruit. So if we are saying acting in the spirit of service for others, but still there is a selfish thought that if I do good deeds, it will come back to me. Is that,
That's not okay, finish your question.
Yeah, no. So my question was, is that kind of action also Rajasic? Because I'm expecting something back in return.
Yeah. See, it's like this. Okay, let's say one category of people, they will act only when they get something out of the action. That is what we say, action with a selfish motive. I'm acting because I want something out of it, right? Now, the person gets a knowledge that act in a spirit of yajna, act unselfishly, but as per the law of karma, if you act, you will get what you want. Now you go into a second stage where you're doing good deeds, but you're aware that good deeds will give you something, right? So that is not selfishness.
Yes.
That is not selfishness. That's the awareness that is life. If you do something good things will happen. But your mode of functioning is, I must be of some service to others, whether or not I get the fruit. So you shift from the negative attitude of selfish and self-centeredness to the right attitude that I must work in a spirit of yajna. Incidentally, you also understand that by doing good things will come. That doesn't make you selfish. A knowledge that good deeds will give you good fruit doesn't make you selfish. But if you're doing the good things because you will get fruit out of it. So in other words, whether the fruit comes or not, I will do my actions in a spirit of yajna. And the support comes from the knowledge of karma that anyway your actions will get you what you want. So don't worry about it. So knowledge doesn't make you selfish. The attitude makes you selfish.
Yeah. So just a simple thought that, okay, if I help someone today, tomorrow they might help me. That is not selfish.
See, if you're doing it because you want the help, then it becomes slightly selfish. At least you're doing it. But if you think, okay, I help, the other person also will help, there is a flavor of selfishness. But the next stage of that is whether the other person helps or not. If it is my duty to help, let me help. Get to that zone.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like there's no tangible help that I'm expecting
then it's
in
okay.
return.
You leave it. See, that's what we
that's what I wanted to check.
Yeah. So see, we can learn a lot from these examples. What is it's a whole, the spirit behind it. I'm going to take 5 minutes more and just finish the verse, the 19. See, when I take a gift and offer it to somebody, I'm directly helping. I have something to offer, whatever it could be. I take it and I give something, I'm directly offering. Now, there is a beautiful concept. I'm not suggesting all this, I'm only, what is this called? I'm only trying to make you aware the beautiful principle behind it. When I take something and offer it in the fire, I am actually telling, let the divine decide who needs help. Here I am directly helping, which is good, nothing wrong. You help somebody directly because that's the right thing to do. The other is you're offering it to the fire, and the attitude is, let the divine decide who needs it. Now, intellectually it may seem very silly, you're burning things, but what is beautiful is the attitude. Let me do what I can. Whoever needs help, the divine will decide. The totality will decide. But you do your part. So what happens is you keep on offering your actions in a spirit of service and sacrifice. Whatever has to happen, what you will get, who needs what, let that divine entity decide. Did I explain it properly? I don't know. I'm not feeling confident. You just offer your services. Whatever has to happen will automatically happen. The knowledge is
Thank you.
you will get what you deserve. What is the right way of acting? Act in a spirit of service and sacrifice. Whether that person will help or somebody else will help, you go on doing what is right. Now, the thought may come, sir, what will happen to me? Don't worry. Law of karma is functioning. If your actions are good, good things will happen. So once you know that, then you become more confident. Okay, let me just go all out and act in a spirit of service and sacrifice. Without the knowledge, we are shaky. No, what will happen to me? So knowledge is important. That if you do good, good things will happen. But you don't have to expect it. It's like if you work for the company and you forget to ask for the salary will still come, no? So that's what the divine is assuring, that you will get what you deserve. You don't have to expect. By expecting, you are becoming rajasic. Now, if you work without expectation, how can you do it? The knowledge is there. Anyway, you will get it. So keep on doing it. Okay, verse 19. I don't want to say that verse 19 we will take and not do it. So you'll just read. And it's covered, so don't have to worry about it. With that, we'll end the second topic.
तस्मादसक्तः सततम् कार्यं कर्म समाचर असक्तो ह्याचरन् कर्म परमाप्नोति पुरुषः.
So actually what all we discussed, it's a beautiful conclusion. Throughout the Gita, Bhagavan Krishna uses the word tasma, therefore. There is a reason and logic in what he's saying. Therefore, without attachment, without wanting anything, and without the ego that I am doing it. Think of the work, not who is doing the work. Think of the work, not what will you get out of the work. Without attachment, always perform actions. We must perform our obligated duties. Each one of us have a role to play. Student or teacher, mother or child, every time we're playing a role, always perform your obligated duties, which should be done. Whether you like it or not, do what you need to do. By performing action without attachment, without thinking what will come, without thinking that I am doing it, if you just focus on the action and you remember the Supreme, you will reach the Supreme. Supreme is the ultimate state of perfection. So don't think of yourself, think of the work. Don't think that what will I get out of the work, just work. And then add the thought of Supreme, you will reach the Supreme, which is the goal of human birth. Supreme is a state of absolute fulfillment, which we eventually have to. We are all waves that ultimately will merge back into the ocean. Whether you want it or not, we'll all go back. So by the right thoughts, right mode of living, you will only accelerate your getting back to the Supreme. Anybody has any question? Okay. Then we'll end the class with the prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So the meaning of this prayer also, it's all talking about the Supreme. It's all about the Supreme. That Supreme is infinite. This Supreme, what is inside this world or what is inside, is also Supreme. You take away infinite from the infinite, what remains is infinite. So we are not aware of the bliss that is within. It's not that we don't have that bliss within. We have to become more and more aware by pure activities. The more pure, good activities we engage ourselves without ego, the more you feel the bliss of the Supreme from within. It's a practice and a state. Do what you have to do, find supreme fulfillment in doing what you have to do. Don't forget to find joy in what you have to do. Because many people, I find, they do the right things, but they like, I'm just giving an example. Very sweet waiter is here. She genuinely works very hard, and she's like very, very caring about the guest, what you want. And I mean, that is the training. That is whatever hotel management. So she was passingly mentioned, sir, so much of work, I'm stressed. So I started engaging. I said, you're doing work. No, why are you stressed? You should be happy. What is the cause of stress? No, too much work. I said, too much work is good. Start enjoying it. That I am doing so much. I'm doing so much means I'm being unselfish to others. So sometimes we do the right thing, but because of a wrong attitude, we forget to find peace and joy in it. Enjoy the work. Okay, why does the master write, find supreme fulfillment in doing what you have to do? Sometimes the wrong mental attitude makes you, if you have the right attitude, work will give you a lot of fulfillment. Work and find joy in it. Work well accomplished the joy of life. That is the starting point for finding happiness within. Otherwise, we are dependent on the result for the happiness. Result will fluctuate. It will go up and down. That's not in your control. But how you work is completely in your control. You see? So you are internalizing your happiness. Doesn't matter how many people come or not come, who reacts how, you just, I mean, so in your own field, just focus on the work, find joy in the work. A supreme person is already full from within and he does whatever he has to do. Anyway, is not dependent on anything outside. We are dependent, but so engage in karma yoga. And self-realized person doesn't need the karma yoga because they're already fulfilled. We need it because without that, we are uncomfortable, without what comes to you. But if you are focused on what comes, then it becomes impure. Focus on the work. Spirit of Yajna. Okay, thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you.